I'm Megan Schneider, Senior Director of Government Affairs here at NACUBO. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the accountability and risk-related proposals contained in the College Affordability Act. Now, of course, NACUBO is very supportive of accountability and risk-related proposals as relates to student success. Some of the provisions in the proposal we have some concerns with, but there are quite a few contained in this piece of legislation, so I'll go through them for you. Some of the biggest proposals related to accountability are a number of changes to accreditation. There are a lot of proposals that give the Department of Education much greater oversight over accrediting agency actions and allow ED to play a much bigger role in the existing relationship between accreditors and the institutions that they're working with. Another accountability proposal is extensive new reporting requirements related to Section 117 of the Higher Education Act, foreign gift reporting. Now, you'll probably recall that the Department of Education also proposed greatly expanding those foreign gift reporting rules. You can read more about that on NACUBO's website. Another proposal related to accountability in this legislation is a number of new reporting requirements in IPEDS. And those all relate to institutional expenditures in the areas of instruction, student services, marketing, recruitment, advertising, and lobbying. Another big issue to note in the College Affordability Act is that the legislation would implement rules very similar to those 2014 Obama administration gainful employment rules that were recently rescinded by the Trump administration. Along those lines, the College Affordability Act also proposes to implement rules similar to those 2016 borrower defense to repayment regulations that were created by the Obama administration and very recently overhauled by the Trump administration. There are also a number of extensive new teacher preparation program requirements contained in this legislation, as well as a restoration of the 90-10 rule. Now, I'm sure you're probably familiar, but if you are not, what that means is the current rule, the 90-10 rule, governs the allowable percentage of revenue an institution can receive from federal financial aid, including active duty military and veterans benefits. As proposed in the College Affordability Act, that would shift to an 85-15 rule. The College Affordability Act also proposes a much more transparent and open process when for-profit institutions are seeking to convert to become nonprofit entities. There are also a number of proposals related to risk measures in the College Affordability Act. Most notably, there are proposed changes to a number of definitions from how they currently exist in both the Clery Act and the Violence Against Women Act. That includes terms like hazing, harassment, and sexual harassment. Also notably, it would be a proposed increase in Clery Act violation fines from the existing $25,000 to $100,000 per violation. There is also a requirement that all schools would implement an educational program for students on hazing. The legislation proposes mandated campus climate surveys every 2 years, and new mandatory crime reporting requirements for study abroad programs. The Campus Affordability Act also institutes creation of a number of new mandatory positions at colleges and universities, including a Title VI Civil Rights Act coordinator, a campus liaison for homeless and foster care youth, and the creation of an office of accessibility that is independent of or overlaps with your existing campus disability support services. Again, NACUBO is not concerned with all of these proposals. Our only concern, and the one that we are expressing to House Democrats about their plan, is that a lot of these measures take a one-size-fits-all approach to accountability. We often think that this isn't appropriate for most higher education institutions. Each of your campuses are very different, and we think that it's important that the regulations that you work under reflect that. We also think that it's important for House Democrats to realize that while we would love to see greater risk proposals to keep our students safe, we'd like to see some of those proposals tested right now with fact-based evidence that's currently available to make sure that as we're increasing compliance burden, there's a great purpose behind it, so that we're not also increasing compliance costs, which only serve to drive up the cost of college for students and families. You can read more about this and other proposals by clicking on the links below. And as always, feel free to email us at advocacy@nacubo.org.